I'm not very disciplined. I need to be serious enough. Those are the answers I used to give myself whenever I would feel like I've been procrastinating for a long time, especially on a task that looked a bit challenging. In this video, I'm going to try to tell you three things that I've seen that I do that helps me to actually stop procrastinating. Now, to be honest, sometimes you have something that you have been wanting to do and then you keep delaying it for a long time. To give you an example, there is my day-to-day job is doing research. So I live in China in a city called Shenzhen. It's one of the biggest and most developed city in China, and I work in Shenzhen University. And there is a paper I have been working on for the past 2 years almost. And I have always wanted to target a very, very top journal, to submit it to a very top journal, but because of the difficulty of the task, I kept pushing it and telling myself I do it next month, I do it in the next 2 months, and then 2 years have passed. But last month or a month and a half ago, I discovered something that really changed how I see procrastination. In fact, you realize that by the end of the video that sometimes procrastination is wisdom. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to clearly define the task that you want to do. Especially, you need to ask yourself, what does success mean if I complete this task successfully? So in the example I was giving you about doing research, so in my case, it was sending that paper to that journal, submitting it. Not necessarily getting it published, because getting it published, I know some of the part isn't in my hand, but at least submitting it is something that I can have control over completely. Now, that was my goal, and then I defined it very clearly. The second thing that now you need to do after you've defined the goal clearly is you need to decompose it in some small steps, because sometimes the goal is too big, and then because it's too big you start to procrastinate because your body is feeling that this thing is impossible to do. Your mind is telling you the same thing. So decomposing it for me meant that I needed to set out the different tasks or sub-tasks that I need to do for me to achieve that. Say, for example, reading the literature, gathering the data, and all those things. And then the third thing that I needed to do was to look at all these sub-tasks, all these small tasks inside. Which one am I comfortable most with? Which one do I enjoy doing? Or which one am I good at? So, for example, in my case, I am good at method data related things, like collecting data, analyzing data. That's something that even if I do it days, 24 hours, I always feel energized doing it. Now, on the other hand, I don't like writing. I mean, I know I have to do it as a researcher, definitely I have to do it, but that's the thing I love the least in research, that I have to put whatever I've done in words that sometimes takes time to come by, you know? So I defined, like, this is what I love to do, then that's what I'm going to start to do. Start with the thing that you feel energized with. Or sometimes it could be, depending on the goal that you've set yourself, it could be something that needs to be done definitely by you. Because sometimes some of the things is, even if you don't like it, but you need to be the one to do it. You can't evade it. I know I said three things, but there is a fourth one. And the fourth one is actually the most important. Now, once you have figured out that, okay, among all these small tasks that I need to do, these are the ones that I like to do, or these are the ones that I need to do, you need to find a who for the other task that you don't like to do. So again, coming back to the example of the research paper, in my case, I started to think, okay, who can help me get this paper into this top journal? And then I remembered that one of the paper that inspired the idea I was working on was actually a paper written by somebody who submitted it and published it in that particular journal, top journal that I was targeting. So I reached out to them, telling them, okay, this is the idea I have, these are the preliminary results that I've got, and they were very interested and very keen. And guess what? They're very good at writing. So now my only job has been to just focus on analyzing the data, presenting, writing the methodology, the result part, and they are focusing on the theory, on all the other part that I don't particularly like. And the paper has been going quite well. Now imagine, it had been sitting there for almost 2 years. Because of what? Because I hadn't really seen that, you know what, actually there's a better way to do it. And the reason why in the beginning of the video I said that procrastination can be wisdom is that in my case, the wisdom was that I was procrastinating because I had not yet found my who, like the person who can help me achieve this particular goal. So most of the time, not all the time, because there are some particular, let's say for example, doing your bed. If you're procrastinating on making your bed, that's definitely not, you don't need a who to help you do that. You certainly can do that. But if it's a big goal and you've been procrastinating on it, maybe the reason could be that you haven't figured out the right who to help you deal with that particular goal. If I would give you another example, one of the business that I do here is that I help people who want to buy electric cars from China, especially diaspora who live abroad, let's say in Canada, in the UK or in the US, and they want to purchase electric cars for their parent back home or their siblings or their families back home, because fuel can be quite expensive and EV car are quite sustainable and easy to use. So there was this person, she lives in Canada and she's been wanting to buy a car for her parent for 2 years. And then I have a friend who lives there, and then when they talk to them, they tell them, no, you know what, I have a friend who lives in China and he can help you deal with that, like finding you the right car and shipping it up to whatever location you want to send it to. And the moment they talked to me, that's when they told me that they had been procrastinating on that for a long time, because whenever they would think about the process of having to figure out where to buy it exactly in China, to find a reliable supplier and all those things, that made them push it over and over and over. But eventually when they found me, they were able to buy it in no time. The only thing that they had to figure out now was to find the money and wire it. And then the car was in no time in the hands of their parents. So figure out the right who that you should be doing that particular task with. And I'm telling you, the moment you do that, you will realize that actually you were not procrastinating because you were not disciplined. You were just procrastinating because you were going at it the wrong way. Anyway, I hope this video blessed you, and I will see you in the next video. Stay blessed.